welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
All right, good morning. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We had a lot of basketball. We had football yesterday. We had a little bit of everything. Hope everybody is well rested and ready to go. If not, like our friend Snoopaloop, I hope this helps you nurse that hangover. Says, good morning, happy National Indian Pudding Day. Nursing a pretty good hangover from the football trip to the 10-hour car ride. Good luck, Snoopaloop. We're all rooting for you. Sneeves is here. We got Keeper, the Common Man's here. We got Fanny Regulator, Gershot, Borland with some Wolves love. Shiggins is here. Bottomine Keeper. We also got Mike Basson. Good afternoon to you, sir. We got Stubbs up in here. Milo in the chat. There we go. Who else we got? Maggers World. Good to see everybody. Hey, do me a favor. Like the stream. Subscribe to the Team Hold channel. We are closing in. I believe we were at 10,751 as of this morning. There you go, I think that's like plus 14 already to start the day. So we love to see it. Arcic knew there was we only see you when the Sixers are doing well, Arcic, but it's good to have you back. We the people's here as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over every single basketball game from this weekend's action. All right, every single one. So we will be talking about Harden. We will be talking about Maxey. We're going to be talking about everybody. And then our beloved segment, 3 up and 3 down. We're going to bring that back today as well. So a lot to get to in this fiery hour. And I listen. We had my best friends, my godson, stayed with us this weekend. So I used to getting up at like 4:45 at 5 o'clock in the morning and just grinding out some Legos or watching Jurassic Park. So I just want you to know I've been up for a while and I'm fully caffeinated and I'm ready to go. So this is going to be good. It's going to be a good show today. I can feel it. The vibes are great. So let's get going. Friday in season. Actually, before I do that, just a reminder too, it is Monday, which means Live Before Lock is back. So tonight at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, I think I might be flying solo for that too. Which is going to be very exciting. Those are always the most chaotic. So we'll give away a rare tier card. If we hit that live 200 viewers, we'll give away a second one as well. We've got another week of the in-season tournament. A lot of fun stuff. Going. Let's go. Friday night in-season tournament action. Celtics beat the Nets 121-107. No Ben Simmons. No problem. Lonnie Walker had 27 and 4 off the bench. I'm going to be honest. I keep forgetting Lonnie is on the Nets. I forget. And then he comes out there and drops 20. Jason Tatum had 23 and 10. Jaylen Brown had 28 and 5. This game was over pretty quickly. Felt like we had a lot of blowouts recently. But good win for the Celtics. You got to get those in-season tournament points. You know what I mean? You got to get ready to raise the banner, all right? That's what good organizations, good institutions do. They win the games that matter the most, like the in-season tournament. Next up, Sixers and Pistons. Real quick on the Sixers, man. Crazy story. I believe that came out last night, or the nights are blending together. It was either last night or on Saturday. Kelly Oubre Jr. got hit by a car while he was walking on the street or on the sidewalk. I'm sorry. It looks like it was on the sidewalk. Thankfully, he's only got it's just broken ribs, which is like truly one of the more painful injuries you can get. But I mean, that could have been way, way worse. Obviously, he's going to miss some time, but just crazy stuff. Oh, it was last night. Thank you, RC. Excuse me. So glad to hear that he's going to be all right and that it is just broken ribs, but I imagine he's going to miss quite a bit of time. So I hope he gets well soon. And it just sucks because Oubre was playing really, really good basketball for the Sixers. I mean, some of his best basketball of his career. And now, especially after that trade, I imagine we're going to be seeing more Nicholas Batum and Robert Covington, stuff like that. So I don't know, something to monitor. Are you sure that was last night? Was that after the game? After the Sixers-Pacers game? I thought it was 2 nights ago. Anyways, whatever. Hope he gets well soon. But anyway, Sixers beat the Pistons on Friday in that tournament action. They won 114-106. Dude, Tyrese Maxey is on an absolute heater right now. Oh, it was before the game. Okay, thank you. Absolute heater, man. He's just been incredible. 29 and 11. We'll get to the game that he had last night against the Pacers, which there was 0 defense played in that one. But he had 29 and 11. Embiid continues to put up just video game numbers, 33 and 16. Tobias Harris had 24 and 5. And then again, we besmirched Killian Hayes. And then Killian Hayes continues to put up points, which was weird, but he had 23, 6, and 5. And then Cade Cunningham had 21, 7, and 4. Pistons, man, after a start, like a fun week or so for them, we're like, ooh, baby, like Cade's back. Oscar Thompson. It's just kind of, back to Detroit basketball. It hasn't been as exciting the last couple of games for them. But I mean, I guess this is what we expected for them. They were playing Philly. Philly's been great, man. Atop the Eastern standings, baby. The Sixers continue to cook. Hornets and Wizards. Hornets won 124-117. Let's welcome back Mark Williams to the fantasy fold, baby. Mark Williams with a big old double-double. He had 21 points, 24 rebounds, and 3 dimes. And he wasn't even the best fantasy scorer on his team that night, because if you played Gordon Hayward in So Rare or an underdog or in whatever format you like to gamble, my guy had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 dimes, 4 steals. Just went off a classic Gordon Hayward game. LaMelo now is stringing together a handful of games, which is good because LaMelo got off to a real slow start. Now he's starting to pick it up. He had 25, 6, and 6. Kuz had 17 and 6, and Tyus Jones had 16 and 4. Jordan Poole continues to disappoint. This was the second time they had played each other that week. It was like back-to-back games, and Wizards blew them out the first time. Hornets come back, get the dub the second one. But now we got to talk about a team that's red hot, the Houston Red Hot Rockets. 104. They beat the New Orleans Pelicans 101. Dude, the Pellies are in trouble here. I was excited about point forward Zion with CJ down with the collapsed lung. And so far, we've just seen a lot of turnovers from our guy Zion, and the Pelicans haven't really been able to string together anything. Dyson Daniels has been playing like a little bit better. Hawkins can knock down some threes, but man, the Pelicans, after a really fun start to the year, have stumbled quite a bit. Zion had 24 and 8. Ingram now seems back in full health. He had 31, 6, and 5. But my name is Jonas, had 15 and 9. But man, Şengün's been playing some of the best basketball of his short career. He's been great. He's been awesome. What did he have? I lost my spot. He had 24 and 8. Freddie Van Fleet's had 20 and 8. Jalen Green, 25 and 4. We'll talk about both Houston games from the weekend because they played the Denver Nuggets last night. But after dropping their first 3 games of the season, have just ripped off 6 dubs in a row. Ime Udoka is out there, no jokes here. Ime is coaching. He's doing a solid job with this team. It's good to see Houston back in action. So good stuff there from the Rockets as they beat the Pellies 101. And then hopefully the Pelicans they're just unlucky. We don't even know how good this team is because they're never on the court together. CJ, I'm assuming, is still going to miss a couple more weeks. So I don't know what they do here. Jazz reminded the Memphis Grizzlies that they are the worst team in basketball still, because we thought it was the Jazz. And it's not. The Jazz won 127-121. Lauri Markkanen continues to put up big numbers. He had 26 and 7 in that game. Jordan Clarkson had 26 and 4. Bismack Biyombo, baby. Talked a little bit about him on Live Before Lock with Xavier Tillman missing some time. Obviously, Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. They got no bigs. And Biyombo went out there, put a nice little 15 and 15 on you. Desmond Bane had 37, 8, and 4. Jaren Jackson Jr. got thrown out of this game. I don't know if he fouled. No, it was double tech. He got ejected. And Taylor Jenkins, who is usually pretty close-lipped about, he never really complains about the refs, as far as I know, outside, any more than any other coach, right? But he went in the post-game presser. And it sounded like it was a season-long thing, but he was focusing on the Jazz. He was like, yes, of course, we need to play better, but we are just getting hacked left and right, and we're not getting the same calls the teams are that we're playing. I didn't watch much of that game, so I can't really speak to it too much, but it was pretty weird to see Taylor Jenkins come out and do that. I imagine he's going to get fined a whole bunch of money, and maybe it was a tactic. It was a ploy to motivate his guys, saying, I got your back. And maybe it worked, as we talk about their second game in a few minutes. But Jazz get the W there. Biyombo's still going to be a solid play in the So Rare streets for a little bit until Tillman comes back because his cap was so low. It's going to start coming up as he dropped back-to-back 40-plus point games, fantasy point games, that is. But let's get to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are the Timberwolves are world beaters right now. On Friday night, they took down the Spurs. Cat, man. like we talked about this, I think 10 days ago, sometime, I don't know, either a week or two ago, and Karl Anthony Towns like hadn't broken 20 points yet. And I think since then he's broken 20 every single game. He had 29 and 12. Anthony Edwards, man, 28, 7 and 5. He's been awesome. Just a human highlight reel. Wemby had a big game. He had 29, 9 and 4. He had 5 stocks as well. And then Devin Vassell, who had that groin injury, right? And it seemed like he was going to miss quite a bit of time. That's how Coach Pop made it sound. He eased back in his first game, which was, I think, on Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, and dropped only played like 11 minutes. And then in this game, played his full allotment of minutes, dropped 29 points. So good to see that Devin Vassell is back and at it. We love to see that. But great win for Minnesota, man. Again, they weird start, right, with drops of to the Raptors and the Atlanta Hawks. And when you look at that, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then, and we'll talk more about them. We'll talk more about them here in a little bit, but they are just ripping off W's now, playing like really good basketball. And I think their roles are, or they're figuring out their roles, right? They have got their defensive players. They know Rudy Gobert's still the anchor. Jaden McDaniels is like one of the best defenders in the league right now, and you can just throw him on the wings. Ant is playing defense here and there. Like, I don't think he's playing lockdown defense the entire game, but as we saw what they did to the Celtics, like when it matters the most, he's like, I'll lock up Tatum. I don't care. And then Cat being like their secondary scorer while Ant's just going to put up close to 30 a game. That's going to do it. Shiggins talking about Vassell here for a second, said it was skeptical of Point Vassell, but he's actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to like do Scotty Barnes stuff. It's always weird saying Scott Barnes. Like, I don't think he's going to be like, 20 points, 14 boards, and like 9 dimes. I don't think we're going to see that, but we're going to see like 25 points a game from him. All right, the Clippers. So the Clippers have any more turnovers, and he'll be traded to the Vikings. Dude, Josh Dobbs season in Minnesota, baby. Skull. All right, Mavs beat the Clippers. So the Clippers now, right, they get James Harden. They go and they play the Bing Bong Boys of New York, right? And you're like, okay, well, the Knicks are a tough team. It's their first time. They're figuring out L. They pick it up an L. Then they go to Brooklyn. It's Barclays, right? We go from MSG to Barclays. All right, now we can start building some momentum. L, they lose to the Nets. Now, Friday night tournament action. The Mavs just beat the piss out of them, 144-126. Kawhi had 26 and 4. I'm going to go into the Clippers a little bit more after we talk about that game, but it feels like only one player is allowed to score 20-plus points, and then everybody else just kind of stands around and watches what happens. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun basketball. Luka Magic, let's get a drop in. Let's get a drop in for the Dallas Mavericks, who are red hot, continue to play good basketball. Luka Magic.
Luka Magic.
Baby. Oh, yeah. Borland said, did the Mavs not use the tournament court on Friday? No, they had court malfunction. We talked about it on Live Before Lock. I don't know if Grant Williams didn't like how Denver messed around with the three-point line in the first round of their in-tournament action. It feels like maybe Dallas was like, fine, let's do it one up. We're just not going to use the court. But, yeah, they had some technical issues, so they had to go through the old court. They should lose points for that. Or should they gain points because you hate the courts? I don't know. Let's hear it. Kawhi had Luka had 44 points, 6 boards, 6 dimes. Kyrie had 27 and 6. We're going to talk about Kyrie a little bit more later, but he's turning into just like a knockdown 3-point shooter, and he's not doing a lot of the ball handling or anything else like that, which is pretty fun. Pretty fun to see there from Kyrie. Timmy Hardaway Jr. had 17 off the bench. They continue to play. He continues to play well off the bench. Good win for Dallas. So that's 0-3 now for the Los Angeles Clippers. Lakers and the Suns played 122-119. The Lakers get a W. Beal was back in action. Still no Booker. They're hopeful Booker comes back this week as he missed both of their games this weekend. LeBron, and this is AD's return after he missed the game. AD was a little rusty. He had 18, 11, and 4 dimes in his return. LeBron had 32, 11, and 6. Really good performance from LeBron. He got hurt. I want to say it was in the third quarter. It's like a weird, it was like a shin injury. It was a weird looking injury. Just kind of like fell awkwardly as he was landing. And finished the rest of the game. Really solid performance, but then did not play in Sunday night's game. So you had that. Beal had 24 and 4. That was good. Positive news. KD 38, 9, and 5, and you got 14 and 9 out of Nurk. But another Suns loss. And I guess if you're Phoenix, you're probably not panicking, right? We're just hitting double digits games into the year. You're like, whatever, dude. We haven't had Booker yet. Beal missed a lot of time early on. But you are logging a lot of KD minutes, a lot of KD usage. Like, he has to do a lot for this team to stay in these games that they're losing. And I would guess if you were heading into the season and you're Phoenix, you're like, well, let's make sure KD's fresh for the playoffs. And I don't know if this is how I would define fresh. So I might be in a little bit of trouble here, but whatever. It's still early. Last game, Friday night. Light the beam, bitches. 105-98. The Kings take down the Oklahoma City Thunder. SGA, another 33-point performance because that's what he does. Or 30-plus point, excuse me. He had 33, 7, and 6. Sabone, baby. We got a Sabone triple-double sighting. He had 17 points, 13 boards, 13 dimes. Keegan Murray sighting, 24 and 11. And then Kevin Huerter into the starting lineup. I think he was in the starting lineup. He dropped 28 and 9. Good win for Light the Beam. I feel like we hadn't been lighting the beam too much this year, and that's a good one for them for OKC there. I mean, for Sacktown, baby. All right. Hold on. Top Shot Common Man said Beal, Book, and KD will play less than 10 games together. All right, that's a spicy hot take this early in the morning. Let's get to Saturday. Celtics beat the Raptors 117-94. The drama that came out of this one is the Celtics were up big in the fourth, and Joe Matrix Missoula. I don't know if you've been watching these glasses. These I don't know, are they transitional lenses or are they vibes lenses? They look like shades that an Oasis fan would wear in 1996. Like, that is the energy that he's bringing. Either these yellow tint. I feel like he should just be wearing all leather while he's walking around. But anyways, he challenges a call up like 20 in the fourth quarter. Dennis Schroeder, who loves to mix it up, loves to get mad about stuff. Dennis Schroeder, I bet, had a lot of grudges in high school. He seems like he takes things takes things personally. But he's probably right. I don't know why you're challenging up that much. Maybe like, listen, he kept his starters in a little bit late because they lost 2 games in a row, looked a little rusty, trying to shake the rust out. Maybe Joe Mazzulla was also trying to shake his rust out, wanted to get a little bit better at challenges, right? Maybe we can look at it in that way. Anyways, not a lot of stats to take from this as Siakam, everybody, like, no one played a lot of minutes, right? So Siakam had 17 and 7. On the Celtics side of things, Tatum had 27, 5 and 4, Jaylen Brown 29 and 5, and then Porzingis 21 and 7. Jaylen Brown too, off to a weird start, and then had 2 games this weekend where he really just like crushed with his points anyways, taking some weird shots, but scoring a lot of points. All right. Next up before we do that, like the stream, subscribe to Team Hold if you haven't done that yet. All right. I want more people up in here. More people up in here for the morning show, baby. All right. Next up, Orlando Magic took down the Milwaukee Bucks. Final score here was 112-97. No Dame time. Giannis had his first big fantasy night as he had 35 points, 10 boards, 7 dimes, 4 steals. And the Magic, the test that was like really intense. Okay, they're protective glasses. Okay, or did they have to be a yellow tint? Is everybody in the chat? Look, these are blue light glasses too. What if we do a little hello, right? What does Stan call these glasses? They are Mrs. Doubtfire glasses, right? There you go. Anyways, the Magic really had to test that theory of can any guard light up the Milwaukee Bucks? And Jalen Suggs said, yes, I can. Had 20 points, had 18 and a half. So at half, only 2 points in the second half. Part of the reasoning for that, though, I think was because Paolo had 26 and 12 and Franz had 24 and 6. Franz, I think, should also be included as a guard in this situation because he does a lot of the ball handling at the top of the key when they're getting into their offense. And so Paolo and Franz combining for 50 points. It's a good win for Orlando. Milwaukee just still seems to be weird. Middleton's not right. And I mean, when you start looking at the depth of that team, it just gets kind of like, we're like, well, look, at least Jay Crowder's out there. And it's like, I don't know. Is that where we want to be right now if we're a championship contending team? Now, I don't think it's like, they've still won a lot of games. It just looks weird. I forget who they're playing tonight. I know they're back in action tonight, but I know it's like a weird spot for guards. Actually, let me just check right now because I was looking at it this morning. Milwaukee play Chicago Bulls. Only 4 games tonight, but yeah, Bulls and Bucks tonight. So I don't know. I think Milwaukee's probably fine. It's just they look weird. It's just weird vibes. But good win for Orlando. I mean, this game by like halftime they were up big, and Orlando just held on to the lead that whole time. Heat played the Hawks. 117-109. Heat culture's back and at it after a slow start. They're just ripping off W's. Bam Adebayo. This might be Bam's year, baby. He has now strung together, I don't know, 4 straight W's. Of like offensive performances. We know Bam brings it defensively every single night, but he has been a monster. They had no Jimmy buckets in this game, and he dropped 26, 17, 4, and 4 stocks. He had 2 blocks and 2 steals. So 26 points, 17 boards, 4 dimes, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and just was doing it all against Atlanta. And I mean, Atlanta's got good bigs, right? They've got Onyeka coming off the bench. They've got Clint Capella out there. Also, we need to shout out Jaime Jaquez Jr. No Tyler Hero. Jaime's like, I got you. The rookie playing big minutes for them. He had 20 and 4. Kyle Lowry had 17 and 4. On the Atlanta side of things, Trae Young had 27 and 11, and DeJounte Murray 23, 5 and 5. This is another one. I know it was an 8-point differential there at the end of the game, but I watched a lot of this one. It felt Miami was pretty much in control this whole time, and it really was Bam. Bam has been incredible. Shout out Bam. Bam helped me secure Rare Tier 3 for So Rare and the Rare Contender. We were balling. And then the last game on Saturday night, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Golden State Warriors in the Bay Area, 118-110. And this game was weird from the jump. Draymond, for the first time in his NBA career, was held accountable. For the first time ever, held accountable. He was running his mouth the entire game, had already picked up a tech, and then was still dusting it up a little bit. He gave Donovan Mitchell a shove down at one end. This is like early in the second half, I believe, or maybe it was at the end of the second quarter. I think it was early in the second half. Gives him a shove down at one end. So Donovan Mitchell, the next time Draymond gets the ball like over kind of near the half court line, but like towards the almost like where the scores table is, Donovan just kind of shoves into him as Draymond comes into a stop. And then they review it. They review it to see if it was intentional. When they do the reviews, they kind of go back. They see like the entire play. So they see the initial hit from Draymond to Donovan on the other side of the court. And then they give Draymond his second technical as he ejected. And Draymond's doing his thing like, yeah, like just screaming at the home crowd. And I never understand that, where it's kind of like, it's like if you get in trouble and instead of just like apologizing right away, you like lean into it a little bit. I don't know. His WWE career. Looking forward to Draymond and Logan Paul squaring off for a belt in 3 years. But I just don't. I hate that energy. I know if you're the Golden State, I mean, I'm sure it's how baseball fans felt about Dustin Pedroia if you weren't a Red Sox fan. So this is their Dustin Pedroia. There's a baseball reference for you, G done early in the morning. But it was just weird. And then Clayman has been bad. Clay has been bad. We're going to talk more about him a little bit, but 5 for 16 shooting at 14 points. There was this possession where Karis LeVert, everybody knows Karis LeVert, right? The incredible defender, Karis LeVert. Clay is just trying to cook Karis for like a full 12 seconds. He's doing a little bit of everything. Then finally like takes this weird, I think he wanted to do like a drop step and then a fadeaway, and Karis LeVert just locks him up and stuffs him. And it was over. And it was just, and that signified Clay's season so far. I mean, Clay even said this is his worst individual performance of the year. He's just looked bad. Wiggins looks weird. Anyways, Donovan had 21, 7 and 5. Darius Garland back into form. He had 19 and 6, but 5 steals from him. Karis, who we just talked about, 22 off the bench. And then Steph dropped 30. But even Steph's dimes are a little bit down, right? Normally you see Steph with like a 36 and 6, right? We haven't seen a lot of that. Weisberg in the chat saying the starting lineup last year by net rating was 21.4, which is the best in the league. This year, 14.4, fourth worst in the league. Yeah. It's been weird. I don't think we're like full panic mode yet, even though they've dropped 2 games this weekend. Again, we'll get to the second one here in a second. But we'll do it. Shiggin says Justin Pedroia being compared to Draymond is the first, and I crushed it. I think that's a good one. That's what I can do. Crossing streams. Dustin Pedroia, Draymond Green. All right, that's the Saturday action. We're going to take a quick break here, a little underdog break. And I'll also, before I hit the ad read, Underdog doing a cool thing today with their NBA Daily contest. So even if you've already signed up, if they have a $4 single entry contest, they have a 20 max, a $3 contest, right? So that's $64 you've spent so far. And then they have a $6 5 max contest, which is another 30. So what's that? $94. If you max out all of those contests, they're going to give you a $100 underdog credit. So basically you spend 94, even if you brick out and you don't cash on any of those, you make $6 because you get 100 back. I thought that's really cool. They're pumping the NBA product a little bit, even though I've get my dick kicked in with it over the weekend. But anyway, speaking of underdog, let's take our first break of the morning. We'll be right back. Today's NBA bit is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy Sports. Whether you're drafting Luka first overall in best ball or fading Wemby blocks in the pick'ems, Underdog is where you'll find Team Hold. Sign up today at underdogfantasy.com or just click the link in the description to get started. And by signing up using promo code HOLD, HOLD, you will get a 100% deposit bonus match up to $100. That's a free honey. So sign up today using promo code HOLD, HOLD, and get started at underdogfantasy.com. All righty, we are back, baby. Great comment here. Jericho saying wigs turn into T-Wolves wigs. That's funny. I lost my spot here. Where did we go? We had a lot of games on Sunday. Here we go. First one of the day. Early MSG action. Bing Bong gets another W. They beat the Hornets 129-107. I mentioned LaMelo earlier. He had 32, 7, and 6. He's continuing to play good ball. Let's get a regular season Randall. Let's get a little bit of that.
Regular season Randall.
Randall out there with 23, 5, and 5. He's picking it up a little bit. RJ's been playing really well. I'm remembering. I was supposed to talk about RJ later, but we'll say that for tomorrow. He had 24 and 4, and then Brunson dropped 20 with really no other stats. Good win for New York. Just beat the teams in front of you. Charlotte continues to be dog shit. Nets beat the Wizards 102-94. Who cares? I just can't get excited about these teams. The one thing I will say. Sorry, regulator. I forgot to say that too. Brandon Miller got off to a really good start in that game. I think he had like 14 points in the first half, and then he got hurt. We'll wait to see how serious that is. Unless regulator, you've already seen something on it. I haven't yet. Kuz had 15 and 4. Mikal Bridges. Here's a bright spot for Brooklyn because Bridges hadn't had a game like this in a while. He dropped 27 and 13, but this is Wizards. Listen, Kuzma's been fine. Jordan Poole's been ass. We got a Bilal Coulibaly game. 20 points, 7 boards, 3 dimes, and 4 steals. Good to see that from Coulibaly. And he's not starting anymore. They put him on in reserve role, but crushed it yesterday. But the game that I was excited to talk about, this is a little afternoon action, and the blessing for James Harden and the Los Angeles Clippers is this was a 3:30 p.m. tip-off time. Right in the heart of the NFL season, right? We're deep into week 10. It's just as the 1 p.m. games are closing, the 4 p.m. games are starting. People are checking their fantasy lineups, seeing how their bets are doing, getting ready to put their afternoon bets in. And while that's happening, the Memphis Grizzlies get their second win of the year as the Clippers continue to just eat up those L's. That's 5 straight losses for the Clippers, 4 straight with Harden. And the weirdest thing is happening where truly only one person can eclipse 20 points on this team a game. No one else is allowed to. Biyombo, again, 13 and 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually incorrect here because we finally got a Norman Powell sighting. Powell, who had just been like a ghost since getting Harden. Norm had 20 off the bench. Paul George had 26, 7 and 7. But everybody else is bad. I mean, Harden just possession after possession looked lost out there. Airballing threes, then getting stuffed. Just couldn't put anything together. Bane at 27 and 6. An incredible performance by Marcus Smart late in the game where he gets tripped up, loses the handle, dives head first like he's diving like Dustin Pedroia in the second base. Dives head first. He's in the paint, is able to set the ball on the bat, almost like not a backhand, but like palms it this way. And then on the ground, full extension, flips it to Roddy for an easy lay-in. The Grizz get their second win of the year. It was incredible. Memphis too. I mean, it's not even like Memphis went and Fuego or anything. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. didn't really do anything. It was just, yeah, there we go. I forgot to mention this. RCX says PJ Tucker made his first 3-pointer as a Clipper. I know you said sucker. Very, very clever, RCX. But man, the Clippers, we'll talk more about them. We'll finish out these games because we need RCX man. First, we just make fun of Harden. And then RCX, we're about to talk about the Sixers game last night. So no need to take your Blue Chew or your Viagra this morning because they're back-to-back for you. I'm sure you'll be hard for 4 hours. Please go check a doctor. Sixers won 137-126. No defense in this game, baby. Halliburton, 25 and 17. 25 points and 17 dimes. Turner at 22 and 5. Embiid had 37, 13, and 7. And if you were watching in the first half, you were like, this is going to be an Embiid game. A Joel Embiid game. And then Tyrese Maxey said, don't worry, I got this. He dropped 50 on their head. 50 points, 7 dimes, 5 boards. And then he was like, you know what? 3 dimes. 3 blocks as well. Max even doing it on the defensive end. Tobias Harris at 18 and 9. I don't know who it was in the chat. I'll have to go back and look. But right as the season started, we talked about how Tyrese Maxey, lock it in. All-star for the Eastern Conference this year. Now, we straight up might be talking All-NBA. He has been awesome every single game. He scored 79 points this weekend. 79 points, 16 assists. That's a pretty good weekend. Now, yes, they did it against 2 bad teams in Detroit and Indiana, but you know what? You just beat those teams. Weisberg saying all caps, I called that. Weisberg, we've been talking about Maxey all summer long. And I can prove it with my underdog exposure of 28% Tyrese Maxey, baby. There we go. Lutek saying Maxey helped me reach 3rd for this week's in-season tournament. Brought him to be my so rare MVP over Tatum. I've had enough. Wow, incredible stuff. Good win for them. Maxey's been fire. Bulls beat the Pistons 119-108. Cade MIA. Beef Stew had 17 and 11. Oscar Thompson 9 points, 16 boards. Dude, Kevin Knox scored 18 off the bench. What is Kevin Knox doing? Kevin Knox just out there playing basketball for the Detroit Pistons, is he? Good for Kevin. Happy for you. Vucci Main, 21 and 12. I know Weisberg needed a good Vucci game, and he got it for so rare lineups. And then DDR, DeMar DeRozan had 29. Levine had 19. Like Levine's been kind of quiet lately. I don't know. But anyways, Bulls are back, baby. Shout out Trey Kirby. All right, Rockets, man. Oh, Rocket. Elton John? We got an Elton John reference this morning. The Rockets won 107-104 against the Denver Nuggets. Jokic was insane last night. He had 36, 21, and 11. Michael Porter Jr. had a big double-double, 25 and 10. They're feeling the absence of Jamal Murray. They're feeling it. Şengün, though, playing really good hoops. He had 23, 8, and 5. Freddie VanVleet had 26 and 4. Rockets dropped their first 3 games. Have won 6 in a row. Nuggets' second loss of the season. Both the Western Conference teams. The T-Wolves and the Houston Rockets. We talked about the Pels earlier, about how they've just been gross. Mavs beat them last night, 136-124. Kyrie Irving, 7 for 10 from 3. 7 for 10. Kyrie had 36, 7, and 6. Luka, let's do another Luka. He had 30 points, 9 and 4. Let's do the magic. Luka magic. I had a nice sweat yesterday for a chance at a rare tier 1 in the contender heading into the New Orleans game because of Biyombo's performance. I was in 9th. And I mean, granted, there was so much basketball left. There's a good chance I wasn't going to move that far up. But Zion had a pretty piss poor game on Friday. And I was like, dude, Zion's going to clear 32 easy. 5 turnovers in the first half. For those unaware, a turnover is -3 and so rare. So that was a fat old -15 to get going. So we ended up winning a rare tier 3, which was still fire. But man, Brandon Ingram had 20 and 5. Jonas Valanciunas had 15 and 10. And then Dyson Daniels, 17, 9, and 4. Just a name to pay attention to. It seems like he's going to be the guy that, like Hawkins is out there. He's just shooting threes, but Dyson seems to be doing a little bit more playmaking since Point Zion has been dog shit. Heat. Let's get another Heat culture W, 118-113. Jimmy Butler returned to action after missing Saturday night's game, but didn't really do too much. Duncan Robinson, 26, 5, and 4. Bam continues to cook. 24 points, 11 boards, 6 dimes, and 3 steals. Keldon Big Body Johnson, 20 and 12. And then Wembenyama had 18, 11, and 7. Close to a triple-double. Also, I believe had 7 turnovers. Good win for Miami. Swept the weekend. Back-to-backs are not easy. Smash both W's. Miami's back, baby. OKC, Thunder up. They beat the Suns 111-98. J-Dub dropped 31. Chet Holmgren had 18, 6, and 4. SGA, another 30-plus point performance. He had 35 and 7 and 4. Carl, you said it's -2. Is it -2? Maybe it's in rare. It's -3. I don't know, Carl. Anyways, SGA 35, 7 and 4. Kevin Durant, again, 28, 9 and 4. No book for this game. Bradley Beal, 15, 8 and 5. Another 2 L's in the L column for the Phoenix Suns this weekend. Tough scene. All right, 2 games left, and then we've made it through the entire weekend in under 40 minutes. Minnesota Timberwolves, baby. Go into Golden State, into the Bay Area, 116-110. To be fair, Golden State on a back-to-back, but no matter, as Minnesota gave it to them. Ant-Man, 33, 7 and 6. And okay, so Anthony Edwards in this game has a blow-by. I think I don't forget who he blows by, and then throws it down on Saric, and then immediately gets teed up for taunting. We need to address this. This is like the 3rd time this has come up this season. Adam Silver, I know you were on the JJ Redick podcast, Old Man in 3 recently, so I know you're liking to have a little discourse here. This is what we need to do. You need to pick 5 people from across fan bases all over. They actually can't be fans from the people watching that game, and they decide if it's taunting or not. All right, it's going to be a 3-2. This is my experience from jury duty. I'm trying to take the law of the land and bring it into the NBA. We need to vote on this shit. Because if you are going to use this dunk packet, right? So Ant throws this dunk down. I'm sure it's on House of Highlights. I'm sure the NBA is probably retweeting it or tweeting the video out. You can't take credit for the hoops if you're going to tee that up right away. You take all the electricity and excitement out of a play like that. Now, if Ant did a little Joel Embiid and hit him with 5 different sockets and gets fined $7K for each socket and ends up being $35K, fine. That's different. Come on. We got to be able to do that. Anyway, so Anthony Edwards too. And then he gets into it with Draymond and then punks Draymond immediately. So anyways, Wolves win 116-110. Ant-Man drops 33, 7 and 6. Karl Anthony Towns with a nice double-double, 21 and 14. Clay shoots 5 for 16 from the field again. And then Chef Curry goes for 38 and 5. So now you've got 3 2-loss teams. So look at the standings in a little bit. We've got the Denver Nuggets. They lost to the Rockets. They dropped their second L. You get the Dallas Mavericks right behind them, or technically right there with them. And then bang, you now have the Minnesota Timberwolves, 7 and 2, baby. You love to see it. NBA jury's here for it. Yeah, why not? Everybody, you know what? No one wants to go do jury duty, right? I'm telling you, people would sign up for that. And that's actually how they should do it. If you've just served duty, if you just served jury duty, you should immediately, the second you leave, they're like, hey, congratulations. We're flying you to an NBA game, and you get to serve on that jury duty as well. How about that? Then people would be excited to do jury duty instead of paying me $40 a day when it takes an Uber's $35 to get there. All right. I just solved it. I just solved everything. Not only do I need Adam Silver to come on the show, we need Joe Biden here. Yeah, Golden State's B unit almost made it a game in garbage time. Yeah, I would say Dario Saric has been out there playing some basketball. All right, the last game of the night, the Lakers. No LeBron. We mentioned LeBron got dinged up in that game the other night. Sat out the next game, get some rest. And then Ant-Man made his return. Not Ant-Man, Anthony Davis, a different Ant. Anthony Davis, so he comes back on Friday, 18, 11, 4. Very disappointing on Friday, especially for my So Rare lineups. Last night drops 30 points, 13 boards, 6 dimes, and 3 blocks. Austin Reeves continues to come off the bench, even with no LeBron. He had 18, 4 and 4. Rui in the starting lineup dropped 19 and 5. Jeremy Grant at 23 and 5. Disappointing game from DeAndre Ayton. Shaedon Sharpe dropped 18, but then bang. Skylar Mays, Skylar Mays season. No Scoot Henderson, no Anthony Simons. Skylar Mays. 15 and 12 with 4 boards as well. Yeah, Cam Reddish was in there too. I think he dropped 18 or 19. I forgot to write that one down. But Skylar Mays, again, if you're probably not buying him on the so rare market because he is expensive now. But if you got him, either sell him or play him because he's been playing well. Let's look at the standings and then we'll do 3 up and 3 down. So I'm going to share screen over here so we can all take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. All right, here we go. The Sixers on top of the Eastern Conference here at 8-1. 8-1. They've lost their first game and then now ripped 8 straight W's. Why is it not showing? I want to see wins in a row. Why are you not showing me how many in a row you've won? Am I too zoomed in? Is that why? That's weird. Oh, let's look at the league. No, that's so weird. Normally we see how many in a row they've won. Unless I'm like losing my mind. Anyways, okay. Yeah, 8-1. 8-1 so far. Celtics 7-2. The Heat now have ripped off a bunch of W's in a row after starting off 1-4 and have won 5 in a row. The Pacers right there. Pacers right now. Season ends. Pacers hosting a playoff series. Hawks are 5-4. Magic still hanging around 5-4. Bing bong 5-4. Look at these 5-4 teams. Milwaukee Bucks down here. They've now lost 4 games. Brooklyn Nets are 5-5. The Raptors, after they're dropping an L to the Celtics, are 4-5. And then down bottom, Cavs off to a weird start. Bulls 4-6. Hornets 3-6. And then Wizards and Pistons both with 2 dubs. Although the Pistons have played 2 more games, they're 2-9. On the West side, Western Conference, Denver Nuggets, we said 8-2. Dallas 8-2. Timberwolves are 7-2. The Houston Rockets, 4 seeds, 6-3. The Thunder 6-4. Warriors now dropped a couple in a row. They're 6-5. Lakers move up to 500, 5-5. Lightning, light the beam. Kings 4-4. Phoenix Suns now 4-6. 2 games under 500. Same thing for the Pellies. Clippers started the season 3-1, have now lost 5 in a row. Trailblazers are 3-6. Spurs 3-7. Utah Jazz 3-7. And then the Grizz 2-8 after getting their second win of the weekend. We love to see it. Cam and Skylar, Hawks couldn't use them. Honestly, maybe not. Hawks playing well. Hornets are first place in the tournament bracket. There you go, regulator, that point differential. All right, now we're going to move over to 3 up and 3 down. This is the second time we've done it, so it's officially a segment. And we're going to start with positives, okay? We're going to start with positives. We've already talked about them. The Minnesota Timberwolves now 7-2 to start the year. Karl Anthony Towns and Ant-Man carrying the stuff. Look at these wins. We just talked about how hot the Miami Heat are. They beat the Miami Heat with one of their W's. They beat the Denver Nuggets without one of their W's. And the Boston Celtics. And then last night in the Bay Area, take down Golden State Warriors. Anthony Edwards is averaging 28, 6, and 5 to start the season, all career highs. And then Karl Anthony Towns, after a real slow start, is now almost averaging a double-double of 19 and 9. But again, he had a couple of really slow performances early on and has now been just a double-double machine. A real good start to Minnesota. I mean, I think this is the Minnesota team we expected to see last year. They got made fun of a lot, and here's the difference. They're actually all playing, right? Karl Anthony Towns missed a ton of time last year. Rudy missed some time. They've had all 3 of their core in there and playing good basketball. But the biggest difference is just the understanding of roles. I think Cat is like, you know what, Ant-Man, this is your team. I'll go still talk crazy mess in all the interviews and podcasts I do, but it's your team, Ant. And Ant has taken over, man. Second up, the Houston Rockets, and especially Alfred Sengun, baby. So as we said, the Rockets started out 0-3. They're now winners of 6 in a row, including back-to-back blowouts of the Light the Beam Kings. They beat the Lakers, and then most recently given Denver their second loss. But Sengun, man, 19, 8, and 6. He's finally taken that leap that all the hipster NBA fans have been talking about for the last couple of years. He's averaging 7 more points than his career average this season, and then double the amount of assists. He's shooting 60% from the field. Sengun has been fire. And I think a lot of that has to do, like, he's not getting exposed on the defensive end as much because I think the coaching up from Udoka, I think the addition of Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, and now you're not relying on Jalen Green to be scoring 30 points a game. Like, if he gets you that, awesome. But if not, you got all these different avenues to get there. So Houston Rockets, I think, I'm not ready to be like Houston Rockets 4 seed, probably going to lose in the Western Conference Finals, but they are not scared of anybody. They play tough defense. It feels like they play differently from some of the other teams there. And then last but not least, Kyrie Irving. And I cannot believe that I am about to talk up Kyrie Irving, but I think it's happening. Luka obviously is still the guy. Kyrie's just kind of turned into Ray Allen. Like he's just put him in the corner, knock down threes. We just talked about it. I think he had 12 threes this weekend, going 5 for 9 in the first game, 7 for 10 in their second game. He's shooting 40% from three, 45% from the field, 90% from the line, but he's shooting 40% from three on volume. He's already 22 for 55 to start the season. I mean, Kyrie, and he's like not doing weird stuff. It's not like he's like, oh, I need the ball in my hands. I think as long as Dallas continues to win, he's fine playing off ball, and he's doing it. He's doing it. I mean, Dallas looks great. Dallas looks great. 8-2 to start the season. So there you go. So our top three, our three up, Cat, Ant, the Minnesota Wolves, Şengün and the Houston Rockets, and then Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks. 3 down, baby. It's time to make fun of some teams, and you knew if we were making fun of teams, it's James Harden and the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers started out 3-1, have lost 5 in a row, 4 with Harden. They were pre-Harden, were averaging just over 120 a game. Since then, in the 4 games with James Harden, they've scored 97, 93. They scored 126 against Dallas, but that's when they lost 144 to 126 and 101. They've lost by 14, 7, 18, and 4. Losses coming to the Knicks, the Nets, the Mavs, the Grizz. Now, you look at those teams. Sure, the Knicks are a tough team. The Nets shouldn't be out there beating you. And we sure as hell know the Memphis Grizzlies shouldn't be beating you. The Clippers might be in trouble. They look lost offensively. Like Paul George even came out and said after like the second game, I think, he's like, yeah, I was just trying to be more of the glue guy. You guys, those conversations can't be happening. I mean, Paul George, Kawhi's your best player in the team, but Paul George is right behind him. And then there's a drop down, and it's Russ and Harden. But the Harden stuff is weird. Bones Highland found himself just straight up out of the rotation. It seems like that's going to be it. Norman Powell finally came to life in that game like we talked about, but he has been pretty bad since the deal. Again, we're only, 8 to 10 games into what I said they started out 3-1. 3-8 or 3-9. Oh, it's 4 in a row. 3-5, whatever. Either way, I can't do math off the top of my head. There's still so much time left in this NBA season, but the Clippers look just, a broken system, if you will. All right, next up, Clay. Dude, Clay, we already talked about the Karis LeVert stuff. I don't think he can get by people anymore. He hasn't been able to defend people in a couple of years. We know he's coming off of those catastrophic injuries, but all we heard from everybody in the media, both nationally and locally in Golden State, was that, you know what, the biggest difference between last year and this year, Clay didn't want to do any offseason workout last year because he was too PTSD from getting injured. So, but this season, he had his first full off season. He was playing pickup basketball. He was in the gym. He was doing off-season workouts. Well, it hasn't really equated to anything substantial as Clay is shooting 42% from the field, 34% from three. That's 7% lower than his career average. His last 5 games, he's shooting 3 for 10, 2 for 5, 2 for 8, 1 for 8, 3 for 9, all from 3. So it's not even that he's just shooting poor in 3-point shooting, but he's shooting poorly in volume. So I don't know the answer to Golden State. I feel for him because this is like he had the contract negotiations. It's a tough scene. We the People says turn Clay into a spot up shooter, stick him in the corner. I think they'd be fine doing that, but here's the problem they run into. They just don't have the guys. They don't have the guys to even turn him into that. Like they're not deep enough right now. Yeah, they're 2 jumpers away from being a sub 500, right? Clay hit that jumper against the Kings. I forget what the other one was. Steph in the layup, right? Steph the layup. So yeah, the Warriors are going to be fascinating to watch. Again, Golden State's not trying to win right now. I mean, they're not like worried about winning 70 games in the regular season or securing like a top 3 seed in the West. They're supposed to be ready for the playoffs, but man. Tough. And then last but not least, the New Orleans Pelicans. And we already talked at length about them, so we don't have to go too deep into it, but they are losers of 5 in a row. They don't have a point guard. And I don't see the upside for them until they get someone that can like run the offense or until Zion like can really take a leap because Zion has looked a little rusty. Now, maybe he's sleepy. Zion just had a baby. So who knows? All right, let's recap one more time. Our 3 up, Karl-Anthony Towns, Ant-Man and the Minnesota Wolves, Şengün and the Rockets, and then Kyrie shooting lights out from 3 and the Mavs continue to win. 3 down, Clippers and Harden, Clay's shooting performance, and the New Orleans Pellies just lost on them. Weisberg said Pels are a minus 13.3 net rating when Ingram is on the floor. Not great, Bob. All right, we're going to take one more break, talk a little So Rare, and then we'll get on out of here. Today's NBA Bit is brought to you by So Rare. Daily fantasy sports is annoying. Constantly paying attention to injury news, who's starting, who's sitting, and just having to remember to enter your lineups each and every day. With So Rare, you just have to enter your lineup once for each game week. And instead of having to pay an entry fee each time you enter a contest, with So Rare, once you buy your cards, the tournaments are free. Each game week, you'll have a chance to win more card rewards to bolster up your roster. And this year, So Rare is introducing cash prizes. So sign up for So Rare today using the link in the description, and they'll start you with 20 free common cards. And by using our link, once you buy 5 cards from auction, they'll give you a 6-1 free. So sign up for So Rare today and see if you can take down Mike Sorarian. We can't talk about this quickly. Duncan Robinson absolutely cooked Wemby. That truly did happen. Sneeps, I didn't see this. Did Doug McDermott really throw it down? All right, real quick, just going to show you some of my So Rare action. And a reminder, we're back tonight, live before lock, 5:30 p.m., locked and loaded. All right, this is my champion squad. Steph Curry, a little underwhelming. PJ Washington here was bad. DeAndre Ayton was bad. Wasted my Mark Williams and Kyle Lowry performances in my rare champion. But just a reminder, the reason this was this is my advanced. So I focused on the in-season tournament first. We finished 153 out of 1,500 this week. I think overall, I'll check the leaderboard here in a second. AD, again, underperforming on Friday night. Kyrie with 53. You got Maxey with 75. And that was from Friday night. That's not even counting what he did yesterday. Zion disappointed. Melton was fine there. But 153, if we look at the full leaderboard, actually, we'll do that at the end. We already looked at rare champion, rare underdog. I got 43 out of Giddey, Gordon with 32. Gillespie dropped 18. Keon Ellis with 26. Kessler Edwards ended up only coming into the game for a few minutes. But this is my rare contender. This is the one that cooked. We finished 34th. We dropped 216 points. Zion was disappointing. Biyombo dropped 44. That's a plus 32 on his cap. Jones Jr. dropped 43. That's a plus 31 on his cap. Bam was 66 with a plus 29 on his cap. And then Day'Ron Sharpe, who was very bad in his first game against the Celtics, but made up for it in limited minutes yesterday with his, I think he had like 10 points and 14, something like that. Anyways, plus 16. So we get one a rare tier 3, which is very exciting. Real quick though, let's go over to the full season leaderboard here. So I got 234 points in game week 6. A reminder, they dropped 2 of the game weeks, right? So I've got a total of 438 points so far, sitting in 168th, which I think wins me like $35, right? Yeah, $35. But I will say at 438, I'm only like, I'm not too many. I'm 40 points out of a top 100 finish, which I do think is attainable considering both of my MVPs 2 weeks in a row have disappointed here. I'll build my lineup real quick. I'm not going to keep this in here, but I will build a squad here just to show you what we got here. Let's see. All right. So I think AD is still my max play here for tomorrow's action. Actually, let me see. You guys can't see. All right. Yeah, I just switched schedule because I want to see what the schedule is tomorrow here because there's a lot of in-season tournament games on Tuesdays. Again, this is the first Tuesday night that we're getting the in-season tournament. So Miami plays Charlotte. Bam should go nuts. Atlanta and Detroit, Indy and Philly. You got Orlando and Brooklyn. The Lakers are playing Memphis, so AD should be fine. Golden State, Minnesota, Denver, Clippers, Portland, Utah, New Orleans, Dallas again, and then San Antonio and OKC, Orlando and Brooklyn. All right. So I'm going to go back over here. I think I'm going to start with AD in here. I feel like I want to try to get Maxey and Kyrie in. Oh, no, not. Oh, man, I would love to do that. I don't think we'll be able to. So that has what does that leave us with? 10? Oh, no, but I got to play 3. Sorry, I got to play 3. I actually might go Bam here and try to save some cap. Zion has a pretty low cap because he's been really bad lately. I need to use a year 2. If I go Zion, that leaves me with 20, and that fits DeAnthony Melton in nicely. How do we feel about that? AD, Zion, Bam, Kyrie, and Melton. I feel like that's what we might do. Top Shot Tesla said anything. Any thoughts on Maxey being the best American young guard over Ant? I think it's probably too early to say that. But they look awesome, dude. Both of them look awesome right now. Yeah, this might be what I end up. I will wait till tonight where I roll it out. This is going to be the trickiest time. I mean, it's not much different than any other live before lock, but I think because it was easier to lock it in on Friday when you know it's the Friday night games, you have all the information. When you're doing it on Tuesday, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky. All right, gang, we're going to call it there because I got to get out of here. Reminder tonight, 5:30, live before lock. I'm not sure if the 89 Cavs are on tonight. They might be on at 7. Stay tuned for that. For the rest of the week, the NBA bid is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. So if this is your first time here, come back and hang out, like the stream, subscribe to Team Hold. George St. Ledger will come back again on Wednesday for a little afternoon So Rare Sharps. We've got Shot Tank as well. We got a lot of action coming at you this entire week. The Underdog Happy Hour will return this Friday. Just a reminder, those Underdog NBA contests, get in those tonight and get a free $100, which is pretty exciting. And if it's your first time signing up, that would be like 2 free $100, you know? But I hope everybody has a great start to the week. Appreciate you starting it with me today. We'll see you this evening. We out.